She's made a poem for a blind person that can't be read by a blind person. So great job, Gabbie. Hope you're happy. Alright, Cal here. So, Gabbie Hanna, YouTuber, singer, artist, poet, serial hater of YouTube commentary channels, and self-proclaimed monster.
What if I'm the monster?
Say what you want about Gabbie Hanna, but when she puts her mind to it, she's not only an extremely hard worker, she's actually very talented. So it's a massive shame that this pile of piss is what she's released recently. I'll be honest with you, I've put more work into standing up than Gabbie put into this book. And that's not just because I'm incredibly unfit, because look at me. I'm the peak human being. What a specimen of a man. You know, definitely. Don't pay attention to that, it's not what you think it is. For today's video, I thought we'd take a look at Gabbie Hanna's new book, Dandelion, and just admire the poetry, or to be honest, in a lot of cases, the lack thereof. And where else to start but the very first poem? You know, the one that sets the tone for the whole book and really grabs the reader, hooks them in. So without further ado, here's Bloom. I was 26 years old when I saw my first flower, and instead of rejoicing in its beauty, I mourned for all the years I was blind. 3 whole lines! Wow, Gabbie does treat us. And I'm really glad to see that we're starting on a cheery note for this book. It's a sign of good things to come, surely. Next, let's look at a poem called Buzz. And no, it's not as in Buzz Lightyear, because the only thing that's going to infinity and beyond is this book away from me after I finish this video. One time I watched a fly fall and learned no one's perfect after all. Who has ever looked at a fly and thought, oh yeah, that's perfection? Nobody. You know, maybe if it's a bumblebee that's hench and rainbow coloured and wearing a sombrero, maybe that'd be perfection, but not a fly. That bee gets an A+ from me, my dude. What is a monster, if not just an animal we don't know? I just really appreciate how Gabbie's doing the right thing here. It's 2020 and it's about time we moved past hate. Monsters have gotten a bad rap for too long, and it's just time to move on from that prejudice. Can we get a hashtag monster equality in the comment section down below? Good job, Gabbie. You're doing the Lord's work. Monsters, they're people too. Don't spread hate. Spread love. A lot of the poems in this book come across as a very hefty nudge and a wink to the reader. Like, so hefty that you'd fall on the ground and maybe be crushed under the weight of it. Because whereas in a lot of poetry, the use of metaphor is the way that relatability is conveyed, Gabbie just says to hell with that. Nah, she's just going to talk about how she's a very sad millennial for hundreds of pages, which just isn't that great, to be honest. I don't particularly wish to die, but if this plane chose not to fly and plummet swiftly from the sky, well, I suppose that'd be just fine. Relatable AF, am I right? We've all been there. Life is full of ups and downs. Oh, cool. When's the up part? Right? So relatable again, and definitely worth the 2 whole pages that she printed those 2 lines across. It was definitely worth it. Oh wait, no it fucking wasn't. Tear-stained cheeks, and drear-stained peaks, and fear-stained weeks, and we're-stained freaks. That's pretty edgy, man. You know, the only thing I could think of while I was reading that poem was that poem, Papa Roach. Same energy.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.
I put Dale coffee in a plastic travel cup because I can't ask the world for a latte today. Look, I've been there where you're at a low ebb and honestly you just don't want to talk to anyone. You feel that low, you just don't want to really interact with the world. That's been the majority of my year, as I'm sure it has been for other people as well. But I guarantee you, Gabbie, the lad behind the counter at Costa Coffee, he doesn't mind you ordering a flat white, because honestly, that's the only reason he's there. And hey, if it takes you a while to ask, that's fine. Better latte than never. That was a great joke, nobody can tell me otherwise. In fact, you should leave a like on this video for that joke alone, because this is Dad Joke Appreciation Hour. You may have noticed by now that a lot of Gabbie's poems are conveniently short. In fact, if she has the chance to fill out a page with 2 lines, or hell, even 1 line, she will do that. Because sod trees, right? Why make this a 50-page book where she charges £5 for it, when she can make it a 250-page book that she charges £13 for? That's right, why not just fill out those pages? In fact, the only advantage to the amount of paper she's wasted making this book is that it might actually accelerate the decline of trees to the point where I run out of oxygen before I get the chance to read the rest of it and finish this video. That would be a huge plus, wouldn't it? In a way, it's kind of better than a refund policy. I mean, it's not better than a refund policy, but it's something. Just a bit of Gabbie Hanna humour for you there, about death and that, you know? A bit kooky, a bit relatable. An amazing example of these nothing poems, these glorified tweets, is Dear Diary. Dear Diary, sorry to bother you again. Yep, that's the whole poem. That's your lot. And in a way, it's kind of genius, isn't it? Why would you bother putting effort into something and actually showing some passion with your published book when you can just release some excrement just rubbed up and down a page and get the exact same amount of money from your 12-year-old fans? That's the Gabbie Hanna way. I can imagine she's quitting. So great job, Gabbie. Hope you're happy. And often she'll go as far as to fill in pages with solely illustration. Don't get me wrong, the illustration is actually the best bit of this book. I quite like her art style. I think it's quite nice. Like I said at the beginning of the video, she is talented in some ways, definitely. But this is a poetry book that is sorely lacking in poetry. Even the poems are borderline poems, because that's kind of the thing with poetry, isn't it? You can put anything out and say it's a poem, and Gabbie really takes that to its largest extent. But then add to that the RRP for this book is £13, translating over to about $15. That is incredibly piss poor, and the piss is about as yellow as this fucking book. Sorry, I'm getting wound up by this a little bit more than I usually do in videos. I think it's just because I don't like it when people grow a following of fans and then take advantage of them. And check this out for Scummy going to a whole new level. It's tremendous in the worst way possible. Blind for Molly. What a cursed blessing to be forced into guessing the contents of a heart without the costume of pride. A beast or a beauty, all comes down truly, to not what can be seen, but what festers inside. No shallow perception means no misconception. You can't be distracted by the vanity dance. It makes me wonder who choose this power of the shield from deception if given the chance. And right now, you might rightly be thinking, what's so funny about that? That's actually the best poem yet, and it's quite heartfelt. Sure, yeah, absolutely. What is funny about that? Oh yeah, it's the fact that the braille that's printed isn't raised, so it's useless. She's made a poem for a blind person that can't be read by a blind person. Great work all around. Just a big round of applause for everyone involved. Great work, Gabbie. You've nailed it. Publishers, you've nailed it. Good job, guys. Good job. In her poem Pen Pal 34, she does a great impression of a mid to late 20s person who doesn't realise there are much quicker and more convenient ways of conversing with someone than by bloody carrier pigeon. I often write letters to the universe because I don't know your address. You know what? I think Gabbie might be onto something. It's been too long since I last wrote the universe. I'm going to get in touch. I'm going to give it a try. Dearest Universe, I must apologise, as I have not wrote to you of late. You see, up until recently, I had forgotten of your wonder, until Gabbie Hanna reminded me, with her best-selling book, Dandelion, which is in no way an overpriced cash grab. I often now think about your wonder, about what's out there in your vast expanses, and by vast expanses, I mean vast, if you know what I mean. Sorry, how rude of me. I know you're happily wed, and I know our love is a forbidden one, but I must have you. If you feel the same way, meet me tonight at 11 PM at the, well, anywhere really. You are the universe after all. Forever yours, Cal. Top universe shagger. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really did enjoy making it, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, please do leave a like and comment down below what you'd like to see me do in the future. Really like to hear. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you later. Bye guys.